earnings tonight, so that's pretty important to pay attention to those two companies there. With Amazon being a $2.4 trillion company by market cap here. Yeah, it says the next earnings report is today. Let's see, on the earnings report for Amazon, they're expecting a $1.56 earnings per share on revenue of about $177 billion. Oh my god, can you believe that? A company making $177 billion in like 3 months, 1 quarter. All right, so Amazon is currently trading at $225, and it's down 2.2% today. And what do I see here with Amazon? You are making a lower high compared to what you did here on September 9th. You saw Amazon as high as $238, so that's no bueno. In my opinion, you're not in an uptrend if you're making lower highs here. Let's see. Let me get rid of the moving averages real quick here. We'll turn them back on, but we got a low here at $211 on October 17th, and then a low here at $211.42 on August 4th. I think that's going to qualify as a double bottom. So the double bottom, it kind of did play out where you went up to the upside here over the last couple of weeks here on Amazon. But you would expect if this was going to be a double bottom that it should be going higher than that previous high here on September 9th. Okay, so not really playing out that well for Amazon on the double bottom. Now, Amazon does have a 50-day moving average below it at 223. If you lose that, might be support at that 21 EMA, that white line at 221, but if you lose that, then we could be coming down to that 200-day moving average one more time here for Amazon, and that's sitting at $214. I think this would be a better buy zone area for Amazon, getting it at like 214 or even 211. And you can put your stop loss really tight below the lows here on October 17th. You can put your stop loss below 211, maybe like 209 or 208, somewhere in that area. That's what I'd be game planning for. So if Amazon has a bad earnings report, yeah, you're going to see the stock drop down, depending on how bad the earnings report is and how bad, even if it's a good earnings report and it's just bad guidance, if they're not expecting to make more money than they did this quarter, then that could also send the stock down. And you could buy it at like that 200-day moving average at like 214 or even, 211 if it comes down to the lows here in October. That's why I'd be game planning to buy Amazon. Now, if you're already in Amazon and it's a good earnings report and it goes up to higher prices, then all right, yeah, that's fine. If it does go up to higher prices, then we got to figure out how much higher could it go. We have seen highs here in September at like 238, but then we've also seen some highs here at 242. So maybe 238, 242 could be some targets to look for. You can just game plan that out, put a horizontal line here reminding you to sell at 238, and then another line here at like 242. And those are your targets to the upside as of now, just using previous price action. But I don't think Amazon's ever been higher than 238, 242. So if it goes higher than that, how much higher could it go? Well, I'm going to have to do a Fibonacci on this one now, okay? So we're just using the Fibonacci here. I think what I'll do for this is I'll measure from the swing lows here back in April to the swing high in September, if we're going to call that. Actually, no, I'll do that swing high here in July. So measuring from like, what, 238 or 236, somewhere in that area, down to the lows here in March and April at 162. Was it 162? Around that area, 161. Okay. So we have a fib extension above us. If Amazon's going to continue being bullish here, good earnings report, whatever, good guidance, whatever they need to do to send the stock higher, right? You have a 1272 fib extension at 256. That should be a target to look for. So I would just mark that off on the chart, right? 256 as another take profit area for Amazon. And then 1618 at 282, you mark that off on the chart here and that should be another take profit area for Amazon. Okay, so those are your take profit zones if Amazon goes to higher prices, anywhere between 238 up to like 282. And these are the targets using the Fibonacci here, and also previous price action, where we got highs of like 238 bucks here in September and 236 bucks here in July.